Welcome everyone to Wednesdays at 1. I'm Carol Stewart of Employment Sector Council, and I'm joined by my co-host Jessica Gowers of the Workforce Planning and Development Board. Our Wednesdays at 1 series is supported by the City of London as part of its efforts to drive community and economic recovery across our region by bringing us all together to learn, share, and connect with each other. And today we are very pleased to have so many of our job developers and other colleagues joining us for this conversation with Maple Leaf Foods. MLF, of course, was at our London and Area Works job fair yesterday and is represented here today by Carmelle, Diane, and Karen from their human resources team, because of course, MLF is hiring. And today we also welcome our friend Robert Collins from London's Economic Development Corporation, who is going to start our session with a few words. Thank you so much for being here, and over to you, Robert.
Thank you very much, Carol and Jessica. Just a very big thank you and shout out to all of you for your great support of yesterday's London and Area Works job fair. We had over 50 employers, 15 community agencies, and over 1,200 job seekers coming through in that 4-hour period. And what was especially valuable was not only the employers telling us how well prepared many of the job seekers were, but also just the warm welcome provided by the many volunteers from the Job Developer Network who help enrich the process of helping people a little nervous about approaching employers to feel a bit more confident and comfortable as they move forward. And I think we're looking forward to the evaluation, but we were quite happy with the White Oaks Mall setting to sort of give a different kind of feel to the overall process. So first of all, a big thank you. Secondly, it's still wonderful to see that Maple Leaf Foods has got to this stage in the process. It's been over 4 years that we have been courting them, letting them know about the great features of this community, obviously our location, that we have water from both Great Lakes to help in processing, and all of the other great features. And the most important one, of course, is the talent that's here in the region. And it's been our privilege to work with Carmelle, who's come from Manitoba to enjoy the temperate climate of this region, well, occasionally. And even though she hasn't personally moved into London, which of course is a big mistake, she's on the outskirts in Watford, actually, which is lovely. She and her team have been really trying to understand our local labor market, all of the different players, such as yourselves, the great skills you bring in working effectively with people to prepare them for opportunities. So we're very pleased to be here today to hear a little bit more about their concrete plans, the kinds of roles, and their approach to recruiting the talent, which is a very significant new player on our local landscape. So Carmelle, over to you, and look forward to all of this very useful information to help you really get started in this region. And thank you.
Thanks, Robert, for the introduction. Appreciate it. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining our call today. I know a couple of you stopped by our booth yesterday at the job fair, so it was great to meet you guys in person. But for those that we didn't, like Robert mentioned, my name is Carmelle, and I'm the Human Resources Leader for our London Poultry Project here. I've worked with Maple Leaf Foods for the last 10 years, supporting operations in different areas, most specifically in Manitoba, before moving over here to London, or just outside of London, as Robert likes to bug me about. So Maple Leaf is obviously newer to the area, and we've been trying to get to know a little bit about what London is like and what the surrounding communities are, and just kind of share a little bit more about our job. So the portion today here is really just to give you guys an overview of what Maple Leaf is all about, why London, what's happening here in London, our jobs, how we plan to recruit, and just the types of things that we're looking for. So please feel free to ask questions throughout the conversation here today. You can use the chat feature or just get on the call if you're comfortable doing so. Try and monitor that as I'm going. If I don't, my team, please stop me while I keep going through information so that we get to everything. Otherwise, we'll leave some time at the end to go through any questions or concerns that you might have. All right, so let's just get started then. So Maple Leaf Foods. So Robert gave us a quick introduction. So my name is Carmelle. Part of my team that I have on here today here is Karen Martin, she's Manager of Human Resources. Diane Petty as well, for Senior Specialist for Talent Acquisition, who has recently joined our team. So what is Maple Leaf Foods? So a lot of you may know already who Maple Leaf Foods are. You know, you pick up our products in the grocery store, you see some of our facilities, our operations. But just a high level, a little bit about us for those who don't know. We are Canada's largest prepared meats and poultry producer. Canada's largest producer of raised without antibiotics, or what we refer to as RWA poultry. North America's largest producer of RWA pork products. We are the leading private label supplier to retail and food service here in Canada. And we are the world's first major carbon neutral food company, which is something that we're particularly proud of. And we'll talk a little bit more about that kind of as we go. Just overall as a company, we have over 13,000 employees across Canada, the US, and Asia as well. We do business across the world globally in all different markets. Our products are produced in 21 different manufacturing facilities that are across Canada, producing fresh and further processed pork, poultry, and prepared meats products. We also have 3 plant-based protein facilities currently located in the US, 3 hatcheries, over 200 different hog barns, 2 distribution centers, and we have worked with hundreds of independent both poultry and hog growers as well in the market. So Maple Leaf has a pretty substantial footprint. We are a Canadian company. We are very proud of that heritage, but we are global here as well. One of the things that's particularly important to us and then guides us every day is our values. So we embrace a very strong values-based culture here at Maple Leaf. Each one of these is something that we talk about and integrate into our daily lives, and something that we share with all of our team members across the countries. So this includes doing what's right, creating shared value, high performance teams, diverse and inclusive teams, overall accountability for our work, intense curiosity, disciplined decision making, and being both transparent and having humility. Sorry, I apologize. After all of the talking at the job fair yesterday, my voice is starting to go a little bit. So Maple Leaf has a vision. So we're currently on this journey to what we call raise the good in food. So it's our vision to be the most sustainable protein company in the world. And this is a deeply held commitment that guides all of our decisions. And that helps in different commitments that we've made for the environment, animal care, making sure we create good, nutritious food, safe food, caring for our people and ensuring that we have great cultures, and also supporting the communities in which we work and live in. So our history and our ambitions, we believe, drive for a better future to set us apart. And so that is the overall goal for us when we say raise the good in food. Maple Leaf has what we call our blueprint. So, you know, along those lines of what that means, this talks a little bit about who are our stakeholders, which include multifaceted people through our consumers, our customers, our people in our operations, our communities, our shareholders. And that goal to be the most sustainable protein company on earth is a huge part of why we're here in London today. So back in 2018, we made the announcement that we would be investing in a brand new state-of-the-art facility here. Unfortunately, we have to close 3 of our older facilities as a result of this operation. Unfortunately, they don't allow for us to have the growth that we need to meet the demands. So when we started to look around, London was obviously the place that we decided we wanted to make home, thanks to people like Robert and his team at the LADC for helping us to get us you know, a great spot here in London that we can help to serve the community. So the plant is something, it's really special. So it's been under construction since 2019. It's felt like an eternity of process to get to this point here today, where we're starting to share a little bit more about our jobs. And we're very excited by the progress that we've made. So the facility is designed to have world-leading animal care systems for both our bird handling, how we transport birds to and from the facility, the areas in which we keep birds in the process. We have we call it the chicken hotel, is where they're kept. And we use a process called controlled atmosphere stunning, which is considered to be the most humane process for production. We're also, in terms of the better food portion of things, we have precise temperature control throughout the facility with airflow management. We have leading edge refrigeration units, a very streamlined sanitation process, and we're continued to commitment to our RWA, as I mentioned, raised without antibiotics, halal, and both conventional products as well. The facility is also allows us to work through the better planet aspect of our goals. So high efficiency equipment, efficient LED lighting and controls throughout our entire facility, water conservation technology, and this also allows us, which is a huge deal, is to move to the most sustainable packaging that we can as well. And overall, better communities. So the facility was designed with the employee in mind. So we focused on the areas of employee welfare, just the way that employees can interact within the building. So, you know, the way they have natural lighting, the way in which they go from their workstations to the welfare areas to getting in and out of the building. We tried to keep that as simple as possible, shorten distances, travel time to work and their locations, to keep those as minimal as possible. We're trying to include all types of services that really, you know, are great for our employees. We will have cafeterias on site. They may not be started right when we get up and running, but we're working through that process to have full service hot food cafeterias as we get to our critical mass of employees throughout the ramp up. So overall, the facility is a really critical part of our future, our commitment to be sustainable, and our process of raising the good in food. So this just shares a little bit about the view. So this is actually the site rendering, just kind of placed over, which is the actual site that we're currently located on. And so I really like this quote from Michael when the plant was announced. Basically, we have this vision to be the most sustainable protein company on earth, with all the focus and investment that entails. And we're committed to raising the good in food from every dimension. This investment that we've made here in London is a huge commitment to that vision. So it's a wonderful looking facility. The rendering looks great. The facility is still obviously a construction site, so the picture doesn't do it quite as much justice as what it currently looks like today. The building is all in place, but the extra areas aren't quite finished just yet. So now a little bit about the plant. So we're currently located at 1577 Wilton Grove Road. This is easy access off the 401 between Highbury and Veterans Memorial. I note there is some transit service currently available to the facility. We are working with London Transit to try and enhance this service currently, get it direct to our site so that employees are able to come on and off our location very easily, and save travel time as well. So this is going to be a huge focus for ourselves to make sure that we are accessible for all of our shifts and for all of our people. The facility is just over 640,000 square feet on 64 acres. It's a beautiful lot. It looks really, really great once it's finished and all the trees and everything are in it. It will look really nice. We produce value-added fresh poultry products here at our London facility. And so these are things that you would pick up in the grocery store or that would go to for food service clients like restaurants and certain suppliers. So like I mentioned, construction of the facility started in 2019. Testing of our equipment will start mid-year 2022. So they're just finishing the installation of equipment and starting through the testing process shortly. And our plan is to start actual saleable operations out of this facility in late 2022. The big thing is this facility will, throughout the ramp up, will employ over 1,600 employees. And that's just the start. So the way the facility is designed, it's built for future growth and something that we see will happen here in the near future here in London. So it will just only go up from there. So 1,600 is a starting point, and then it will just grow as we start to bring on more commitments. The way our plants are structured, the majority of our operations are done on a Monday through Friday schedule. We have different shifts, days, afternoons, and night shifts. Majority of our production shifts as of start will be on the day shift, then moving into the afternoon shift. The night shift operations typically include things like sanitation, maintenance work, and things like that. Sorry, I noticed there's a typo in there, but that's supposed to say unionized operations team. So the facility is already unionized. Maple Leaf Foods works with the UFCW, specifically the local is 170 1975. We have a collective agreement in place that's actually been in place for several years, since 2019, when we agreed to let them unionize the facility from the start. So we're happy to work with them. We have a great relationship, and all of our team members, we feel we take care of as one team. We will have opportunities for full-time, part-time work, co-ops, internships, temporary assignments, and support generally for just our ramp-up activities. Majority of our operations will be looking for full-time work on our shifts, but again, we are open to other types of work, part-time and other contingents as well. All right. So what are we looking for? So I've broken this down into about 3 categories just to to help us out a little bit. The operations team members that are on the unionized side fall into areas of general production, skilled cut and assembly roles, live receiving handlers, shipping and receiving, people who operate equipment, machine operators, people who service our equipment like service technicians. These are separate from our trades roles. As well as the journey persons like millwrights and electricians. Additionally, we have another set of support team members who are not part of the union, and these people fall under the waste treatment and rendering side. Drivers who, what we call shunting trucks or moving trucks around our property. We have quite a large property and have to move trucks around on a regular basis. So these are people who are driving within the site, not drivers for long haul or full distribution. People who work in facility care, and then a team of assistant supervisors as well. In addition, we have our support team members, and so these are all the functions that help make our operations run. So our operations supervision teams, health and safety, human resources, food safety and quality assurance, maintenance and reliability, engineering and automation, materials, distribution, and finance. And so we are looking to fill roles in all of these areas. To date, we've only brought on a handful of team members, approximately about 30 people so far are on our team today. And these have been people who are just working in our project space, helping us get ready for the opening and ramp up of our facility. We're starting to trickle out some jobs into the market. Most of it has been on the support team members. Like I said, more people who are helping with the project between now and the start of our testing operations. But very soon we're getting to the point where we're going to be posting the larger contingent of our jobs here approximately this summer. So what can team members expect? So this is majority of our operations jobs, which is the bulk of our team. So about 1,300 to 1,400 of those people will be on our operations team, working on our production floors. So it's important to note that this is a food manufacturing environment. So we work with a meat product. Some jobs work on the live handling side as well. Again, those are designated positions that require specific training in animal care to work in those areas. But overall, the plant is a cool environment. Like I mentioned, when we work in a food production environment, in order to keep food safe in the right temperatures, it has to be kept cooler. So it's similar to like the temperatures of your fridges. People are wearing warmer clothing, what we call freezer coats quite often is what we refer to, and gloves and things like that on the production floor. Typically during our shifts, they're standing or walking for the duration. They involve a lot of moving, lifting, bending, and repetitive movements throughout their shift in the types of jobs that they're doing. They will typically rotate from different job to different job within the production line, depending on the training and skill that they have. Again, as I mentioned, you're handling a meat product, or in the areas you'll be handling live animals if you're designated for those areas. And all of our employees are required to wear what we call PPE, or personal protective equipment. And that usually is things like helmets. You see in the picture, there's the individuals wearing what we call a white smock to cover their clothing, and things like gloves and otherwise hearing protection, etc. So these general operations type jobs, like I mentioned, the bulk of our work, they're typically operating various types of equipment on our production floors. A lot of our equipment these days is a lot more high tech than it certainly used to be. So they're working with on-screen equipment through iPad type systems that they process and move things around. They'll be assisting with different aspects of production line activity, and this can be things like cutting main portions of the meat into certain products, putting them in trays, sorting and doing quality checks as well, packaging products, loading products into trucks or palletizing areas, and performing service and maintenance work on the machinery that I referred to. So what do we have to offer? So Maple Leaf is a great place to work. As I mentioned, I've been here for 10 years. Our teams are wonderful, and we have this inclusive team environment that we strive to have in all of our facilities. It's something that we take very seriously. All of our training is done for the most part on the job. Some of it is in class prior to the start of working, but we do offer hands-on training on the floor. Multiple shifts are available, like I mentioned, depending on what people are interested in. Our wages are competitive within the market. As I mentioned, we are unionized, so we have a collective agreement for the majority of our teams. We are actually in the process of reviewing those wages. As I mentioned, because of our delay, we were supposed to open in 2020. And in order to meet the demands of the market here in 2022, which is different, we're in the review of that process right now. So the wages in the range of $20 plus an hour, depending on the type of level of role and skill that you're looking for. Depending on shift you are on, there's also shift premiums as well, in addition to your hourly wages. We offer bonus programs for our production, for different production KPIs or key performance indicators, health and dental plans for all of our employees, pension plans, short-term disability and long-term disability plans. Maple Leaf has a really comprehensive mental health and employee family assistance program as well. That's really fantastic. Mental health is a really huge focus within Maple Leaf, and something that we try to strive to take great care of our employees and their family members. We also have a long list of employee resource groups as a company. In addition, our individual sites will have their own individual groups as well, depending on the nature of their teams. So once we start to hire a contingent of employees, we'll start to build groups that are important to our team members and try and drive some engagement and group team events as well. We have multiple different rewards and recognition programs, including long service, general reward programs, and overall recognition, peer recognition, team recognition, etc. And overall, we have tons of opportunities to learn and grow. So we've built programs internally that help to build the skills of people once hired, so that we can continue to promote within. So we continue to enhance the skills of our employees. They have opportunities to try out different jobs, move around from different areas in the production areas, and or try other areas as well, different functional aspects, and learn and grow depending on what their path is and what they're looking for. So what are we looking for? So we have a couple of minor required qualifications. Maple Leaf Foods does have a vaccination policy. Effective as of March 31st, all of our team members across all of our sites, whether that's operations, offices, those who are contractors, those who visit our sites, are required to be fully vaccinated and provide proof of vaccination. You also obviously need to be eligible to work in Canada. So those are really the two main criteria that we focus on when we're screening for candidates. A lot of people think you need food manufacturing or specifically poultry production experience required. That is not the case. We certainly are able to train and take on individuals to learn how our production floors work, or our production team works, or our support teams work, and train them. What we're really looking for is team members who bring a positive attitude, are committed to food safety, job safety, and the quality aspects that are required of producing a food product for human consumption. A coachable mindset and is willing to learn, and somebody with a strong work ethic, including being on time and prepared. Those are really the basic things that we're looking for from people to show that they're interested in working and that we can invest in them for the future. Our hiring process. So typically our roles are posted about 4 weeks in advance of our planned onboarding, and I'll show you a little bit about what our plans are for hiring in the near future in the next slide. We post everything online at Maple Leaf Foods careers website. Additionally, there is accommodation available for people who need it. There's an email address there for people who need help with the recruitment process, can apply through there or send an email through there. But our typical recruitment practice is usually done into 3 to 4 steps. So either applying online or in person at one of our hiring events is the first portion. Step 2, we go through screening for those minimum qualifications, and this could be done in phone or in person again at one of our hiring events. Step 3 could also be combined with step 2, which is the interview and offer stage. So either at our location once we're available to get into the building, or at one of our hiring events that we'll hold. And this could be completed, like I said, at the same time. And this last 4 is onboarding. So everybody must attend an onboarding session before being able to go into their work, wherever it is in the facility. That same onboarding process goes for all roles. Doesn't matter who they are or where they go. Everybody's required to take the same orientation onboarding session. And so our recruitment actions. So right now we're in the process of developing an overall recruitment calendar that we'll be able to share publicly. And this includes different things like job fairs specific to ourselves. We typically hold events if we had stuff in sight on our plant. Otherwise, for now, we'll probably be looking at the future. We do hold a lot of community open houses where people are able to come in and ask some questions and learn a little bit more about Maple Leaf. We'll hold information sessions again that will talk a little bit more specifically about jobs, what's life like at Maple Leaf, and how does the process work if people have questions. We hold hiring events. Like I said, this is where people on the spot can walk away with job offers and be ready to start work at the next available orientation session. And then we also partner with our community partners like yourselves to hold special events, and that we'll talk a little bit more on the next slide. Overall, our mass recruitment is going to start summer in 2022. So like I mentioned, just over 1,600 jobs is what we're looking to fill throughout the ramp up process, which is a lot. And so we've hired a little bit already. And then we'll start really hiring the majority of our jobs in June. And then it just continues to ramp up all the way through till end of October next year when we complete our ramp up schedule. So very busy. I know myself and the team are really looking forward to talking to people and sharing more about our jobs. We have lots of opportunities available for people, and we're ready to have those conversations in the near future. So again, working with our community partners. So we often do a couple of different things with people, and these could be tailored to each individual agency or service that you guys provide. Like I mentioned, the information sessions, which are really just informal sessions for your staff or clients. And we can share a little bit about information about life at Maple Leaf, how our hiring process works, career development at Maple Leaf, and more. Again, the hiring events, we could do dedicated hiring events for your clients, specifically held at locations that are convenient for yourselves, where we would come, again, share more about our roles. We could conduct the interviews and screenings on site and provide direct offers for clients who meet the role requirements. And then finally, we've often spent a lot of time working with our community partners to hold workshops for things like resume writing, conducting mock interviews, helping with career coaching, and stuff like that, just to help out your clients and provide some alternative conversation as well. So that's a little bit about Maple Leaf. I think I took my 30 minutes here to tell you a little bit about kind of what we're looking for. As I mentioned, hiring is really set to kick off this summer. And so we're looking to work with you guys as partners to help serve your clients in the best way that's possible. We can connect with you guys one-on-one about what those types of things are if you're interested, and then just sharing the opportunities that we have at Maple Leaf as well. All of our job opportunities get posted online at the career site here. That's linked. We also have a direct email address for London Jobs that people can send any questions about the hiring process or our roles in general to as well. In addition, my team will be accessible to you guys as well, and I can provide contact information to you guys through the ESC as well here in the near future. Okay, so before my voice breaks out, that's what I wanted to cover with everyone.
Thank you so much. A reminder that we will be sharing the link for this recording. You can find it on our Wednesdays at 1 series, along with the other sessions that we've had on the Workforce Board's YouTube channel. We welcome any questions that you've got.
Oh, I had a question. It's Catherine, and I wanted to ask Carmelle, the shifts, are those rotating shifts, or can somebody get on to strictly nights and just stay on nights? How does that look?
Yes, great question. So our shifts are standard, no rotation. So if somebody is placed on a shift, they would be on a standard shift, either days, afternoons, or nights. Employees have the option to bid on or transfer to alternate shifts depending on jobs that are available. If things meet their needs at a different time, maybe they start on nights, want to get on to days, or start on afternoons, or want to move somewhere else, we have that option as well.
And I have one other quick one. I see Jeremy's got his hand up. I work with Leeds Employment Services, and we represent people with barriers and disabilities. And I know you do accommodations. You did share that. I did want to ask you about, we have people that struggle through an interview process. Are you okay with us being the employment specialist, being there to support the person? It's not that the person can't do the job, but it's just that they struggle through that process.
Yeah, so we'd be open to working with our community partners in this area. And so what I'll say is London is new to us. So in terms of what the types of services that people offer, we'd be willing to talk about a little bit more about the detailed process for your clients and how that would best work and how we can best support you guys through that. So yes, it's something that we're open to. We'll just have to figure out exactly what that looks like and how we would conduct that type of process.
That would be great. So we could reach out to you directly then.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Carmelle.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jeremy next with his hand up.
Thank you. So you mentioned that some bus access was available. I was wondering if you could expand upon what bus access would be available for when you open and if it would be expanding as you grew.
Yeah, so currently right now we are on a bus route. Route 30, I believe, is the specific route. And I think typically transitions right out of the White Oaks Mall area. So you typically get through the White Oaks Mall from all areas and then transition service into our facility. Right now, the bus stop is just off of our property. We are currently looking to move that as close to our facility as possible and enhance the route times as well right now. To meet all of our shift designs. So working with London Transit right now, that should be, pressure is on to continue advancing that.
Great. We have a lot of questions in the chat, Carmelle. So I'll read them off to you. So the first one was, is there a hiring fair coming up?
So dates for our hiring fairs have not been set. We're finalizing or working through this calendar right now. Like I said, probably June is our time frame. So we would be able to share that calendar of events with each of you and your teams to start to plan for as well within the next little while.
Okay, and the next one was, who would be the contact person for co-op placements?
So my team can be that. If you want to direct inquiries to myself, I can displace them through my team in the correct way.
Okay. The other one was, do you hire deaf clients who communicate in ASL and provide ASL interpretation?
So what I will say is I don't know exactly how our environment will work with the ASL right now, but it's something that we're open to exploring. And so I'd love to know a little bit more about what that looks like and how we can make that work. Maple Leaf is definitely open to hiring in that space. Those with disabilities or otherwise. So we certainly just want to understand a little bit more about how that works, how we can make sure that we manage that in a safety sensitive environment.
Okay, let's go. There's one more question in the chat, but let's go first to Nadia.
Thank you so much, Carmelle, for your presentation. It was amazing to meet you yesterday, and I was glad to hear all of those details again. So I'm curious, I was really excited to see that you are planning some information sessions and partnering with community partners like us. How do you envision that, kind of getting some interested clients together for an info session or partnering with each of us individually? How should we go about arranging that so that it's not overwhelming for you?
No, that's a good question. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we obviously the more streamlined as possible is something that we're looking to do, but we are open to doing individual sessions as well for the different areas. It's kind of nice. This session is great where we get to talk to you here all today. It may not work for all of you to partner at the same time, but maybe if we can do groups, we're certainly open to that. But we're also open to the individual. Because about 1,600 jobs is a lot of people to fill, and we want to make sure that we reach your clients in the most meaningful way as well. So we can work together to find solutions for them.
Thank you so much. So we can reach out to you directly to start that conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks. Thanks very much. And welcome to London.
Thank you. Yes, I actually moved here. It's been 2 years. I'll tell you. It's. I actually moved here the week everything shut down in March for COVID. So I've been hiding in the background here, but it's been a great place so far. We enjoy being in London or just outside. It's been wonderful.
That's awesome. Carmelle, the other question, I guess there's another question that's come up in the chat. So the question from before was if there are both part-time and full-time jobs available.
Oh, yes, there are. So majority of our work we typically hire in the full-time status, but we are trying to work through opportunities here for part-time or job sharing as well, so that we can include things like students or people who are just looking for 1 or 2 shifts a week in different schedules as well. So they'd be on similar schedules to how our operations teams works, but we'd work with their group to manage the part-time as well.
Okay. Similar to Nadia's question, somebody was asking if they could have your email address to reach out for co-op placements. So if you're comfortable with that, would it just be the email address that Carol and I have?
Yes, yeah, you can pass my contact information along. It's just carmelle.voth@mapleleaf.com. You can feel free to send me any questions, and like I said, I'll work through my team to help get you the best answer.
There was another question. Would we be able to come and tour as a group, or sorry, would we be able to come as a group to have a tour? It helps us to be able to give candidates an idea of what the job looks like.
Yeah, so that's something we're definitely open to once we're open for business. As of right now, we still don't have occupancy of our building. It's a major construction site, so technically our construction team owns the site until they hand it over to us this summer. Once we've done that, absolutely, we'd be open to bringing you guys through, showing you a little bit more. Typically in our hiring process as well, we like to bring people through as a tour, so they can see our operations and what types of things they're going to be doing, how equipment looks. Not everybody has seen a manufacturing environment, and specifically a food manufacturing environment. So it's something we definitely like to share with our people.
Perfect. Somebody else was asking, do you participate in government funding for placements with a client, or would you be able to accept funding?
Yeah, I'll have to double check on that, but I believe so. We typically work with those in other locations, so it should be similar. Just want to confirm from our government aspect of the relations piece. So, but yes, I do believe so.
Okay, that seems to be all the questions in the chat right now, but maybe more will come, or if anybody wants to talk. Carol?
Hi, so I've learned that Carmelle and I are both from Manitoba, and I did my undergrad in Brandon, and I know that there's a plant there that has a quite widely regarded reputation for how it works with its community, particularly with newcomers and immigrants. And I was wondering, Carmelle, if you could give us just a little slice of sort of Maple Leaf's approach to inclusion and diversity, and how you go about making Maple Leaf Foods a welcoming workplace.
Absolutely. Yes. So yeah, Plant in Brandon is actually our largest operation. They are a pork processing facility, and so they're also in a very remote location as well. So for those who don't know much about Manitoba, Brandon is located about 2 hours outside of there, and they've done a really wonderful job in working with the community to help to staff their facility. It's very large. They've got about 2,000 jobs there in the facility. We look to build those very same relationships in all the communities that we're in as well. And so we are very open to working with groups for newcomers and immigrants. We're working through processes with current people who have been brought over as refugees, helping them in the areas of getting them settled, finding jobs, translation, all types of things that are available to help them to get settled out here. So we're very open to that process, and something that we can do directly on site typically as well. We often offer things like language training courses, etc. So Maple Leaf Foods is a hugely diverse company. Our goal is certainly to be as diverse as the communities that we serve. Looking around, there's quite a diverse community here, and it's growing and changing all of the time. Everyone has an opportunity to be successful here at Maple Leaf, and we want to make it a culture where everybody feels included and can come and bring their whole self to work as well. So very important to us. Again, as I noted earlier, it's part of one of our values. Diverse and inclusive teams is right called out in there. We work towards that on a daily basis.
Thanks, Carmelle. Robert?
Carmelle, you've mentioned the emphasis on working safely and handling food appropriately, but also you mentioned that use of an iPad or that type of, the ability to be able to control the equipment, to read processing times, et cetera, et cetera. So a question about what kind of either literacy or numeracy is required to be successful. And if there's anything that are there some things that employment agencies could be doing to make sure that candidates are well prepared so they get screened in rather than screened out?
Yeah, so when I say, so we've got some modern equipment in our facility and state-of-the-art processing. And so, that sounds scary and sounds like it's really, really highly technically advanced. It is great. It's also things that are more kind of screen-based, touch screen basis for our employees. General literacy, you might be making changes to a piece of equipment in terms of, run rates, how fast things are running, different types of products that are being run. These pieces of equipment, well, obviously things are typically standard in English. They are translatable as well. So it really depends on what we're working with, but it depends on the equipment supplier. But they are usually not so complex that they can't be used by just about anybody with the right training programs. But like I said, that's why I use the iPad as the screen for an option. It's very similar to pushing buttons and moving around and transitioning through an iPad. That is really specific to people who are machine operators or who are what we call service technicians, who are our first line of troubleshooting for problems on the lines, separate from our actual maintenance and mechanical teams who are taking equipment apart and actually fixing and moving things around. So like I said, they are some mechanical aptitude is something that we do look for, but it's not required. You need to have a basic understanding of process flow is really key.
Great. Yeah, when you were saying that, I was thinking the idea of, I guess, having an iPad, it clicked for me that the translation component might be a little bit easier since it's all through technology anyways. Mm-hmm. The next person, Joe.
Yes, Carmelle, I just wanted to ask, I apologize, I was a few minutes late, but regarding certification, safe food handling certification, or does your onboarding provide that sort of training, or would it be best for our clients to get that particular certification in advance to enhance hiring?
Not required. We don't hire on that basis. I do know a lot of people have that type of certification. We do not require it. So, and it's not something that would necessarily designate somebody as more hireable than the other. So we do kind of need is a people understanding of the type of work that you are going to be doing. This is something that goes directly to our customers. We provide all of the training on safe food handling, what we call GMPs or good manufacturing practices, hand washing, keeping things clean and making sure that we do those types of things. On the separate side, those who are in our animal care area would get certain trainings as well. These things are certified by CFIA. And so they actually do the training and certify on the training. So it's not a requirement that somebody has them, but an understanding of the type of work that you're doing. You might be handling the live animal side. You might just be working with the product. Either one of those has a safe requirement, work requirement.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm sure Carmelle got a lot of questions yesterday too at the job fair. I saw that the booth was really busy. So thanks so much for being here, Carmelle, and thanks everybody else. Well, I guess if anybody thinks about if they have any other questions, we're just gonna pop up a poll, which is in true Wednesday at 1 fashion. And while that's up, feel free to ask any questions in the chat or talk with Carmelle, or consider it an exit poll if you got all the information you need today.
Thanks everyone for attending. It was wonderful to virtually meet you all.
Yeah, it's very different than yesterday. It was really busy yesterday at the job fair.
Yes, it was great. Yeah, it was nice to see everyone.